kitchen, folks. Today and probably tomorrow I'm going to have a go at making some rhubarb cordial and some rhubarb jam with rhubarb grown in my garden. This is a zero waste recipe. So here's the rhubarb plant and it's a beauty. Look at all those stalks. I'll take a few of them off. So as you can see, I've got quite a nice healthy crop just there. I want to point out that I actually used a knife to cut this rhubarb, and I did get a comment on one of my previous rhubarb films saying don't use a knife, snap it. I did a bit of Google searching and it seems the consensus is that using a knife is just fine, so I've carried on doing that. So if you were the person that told me to snap the rhubarb, that's why I've not heeded your instructions. Right, I need to remove the leaves first of all and then weigh the fruit to see how much is there. So the leaves are absolutely massive, but they're not very good for you. In fact, I believe they are poisonous. These are going to be broken down and used as garden fertiliser or compost. So they're not getting wasted, but that's certainly not getting wasted. That's the good stuff. So I've got a decent crop. I mean, there's some absolute beauties here. Look at this one. That's absolutely lovely, that. Really nice and thick. That's not bad either. Oh, you could do some damage with that. Right, I was going to weigh these like this, but it will actually be easier to chop them and weigh them, so I'm going to chop them right now. Okay, here it is. I'm just going to give it a quick rinse under the tap in case there's any little beasties in there. Get it nice and clean. Okay, I've got my saucepan on my weighing scales. I've zeroed the weighing scales. Let's find out how much I've got here. Ooh, I've got 851 grams. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go and pick a little bit more and try and get that up to a kilo. So I've picked another 2 sticks, which has taken it to 964 grams. I think that'll do. When I'm making cordial, I usually work on the basis that for every 100 grams of fruit, I'll add 100 ml of water. So it's a kind of a similar ratio. So I've got 964 grams of fruit. So I'm going to add literally just shy of a litre of tap water into that. Okay, and that is literally just shy of a litre, so that will do. And that is going to go on top of my fruit. I'm not adding anything else at this stage, no sugar, nothing else. And what I want to do is to put the lid on, and I'm going to turn the gas on, but I want it on the lowest possible heat, and I want this to come to a very gentle simmer. Now I'll have to keep coming and checking back because this does actually boil over if you leave it for too long. So for now I'm playing the waiting game. I'll be back in a bit. Okay, 40 minutes later and we can see that this is simmering nicely. I'm going to get that lid off. It's steamy. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give this a bit of a bash with this spoon. A bit of a stir and a bash. And I'm trying to break up the rhubarb. The fibres come apart really easily. I don't have to put much effort in here. Okay. So I'm going to put this back on. I'm going to turn the heat off. And this is now going to stay and it's going to steep, and I'm going to get all the flavours out of the rhubarb fibre into the water. I'm leaving this overnight and I'll pick it up in the morning. So I'll catch you tomorrow on day 2. See you then. Hey folks, it's the next day. It's time to strain that rhubarb. So I've got 2 bottles just here with filters in the top. This one's an old coffee filter. They both work really well. And I've got my rhubarb infused water with rhubarb here, which I need to get the rhubarb out of. So I'm going to separate the rhubarb from the water. The water will then be further processed to turn it into cordial. The rhubarb will be used to make jam. So as neatly as possible, I'd like to try and pour this through the filter. it's a bit splashy and messy, and you'll see the absolutely beautiful colour of the rhubarb juice there. And I'm going to do that with both of the bottles with filters in. It'll take a couple of hours for this to filter fully, because I really want the water to separate and I want the rhubarb to dry out a little bit. So this is going to take a while. I'll be back. Okay, I'm just going to cover these over to keep any contaminants out, and we'll have an update in a little while. Okay folks, a couple of hours have passed and this is where we are right now. You can see that the rhubarb has largely drained of all the liquid, and the same in this one also. So this is what I need for the cordial. This on top is a waste product or a byproduct. However, I am going to use this and this to make some jam, but I'm going to do that a little bit later. I'm going to concentrate on the cordial for now. So I'm just going to put my waste product of rhubarb fibre into this plastic takeaway tub. There we go. I'll come back to that later on, and we're going to concentrate on the cordial right now. Okay, I'm going to pour my rhubarb liquid into this saucepan. I've rather messily weighed out 1 kilogram of sugar. Now, I was just going to use caster sugar, but I actually run out of caster sugar. So this is a mixture, believe it or not, of caster sugar, brown sugar and brewing sugar. But I need 1 kilo of sugar, and the ratio of sugar, water and fruit is pretty much the same. So there was 1 kilo of fruit, 1 litre of water and 1 kilo of sugar. And I'm just going to stir that together in the pan. Now obviously this is extremely sweet now. So I'm going to balance that sweetness with some lemon juice, a few drips of that in there, and some lime juice. Then it's heat on, and now I need this to come to a simmer. I'm going to turn it down so it doesn't go too quickly, and I just want this to come to a simmer and all the sugar to dissolve. Okay, it's been on 20 minutes. Let's have a look. So there's still some sugar in there, I can feel. It feels really thick and syrupy though, and that's what you want for a cordial. Okay, it's come to a simmer. Let's get the lid off. Oh, it smells fabulous. Really, really rhubarby. Right, I can't feel any sugar in there now. It does feel very thick and syrupy. Okay, I'm going to let it simmer for 2 minutes with the lid on, and that's it. I shall turn it off after that. Okay, 2 minutes are up. That's now getting turned off, and I'm just going to leave this now for a few hours to cool down. Okay, it's time to bottle the rhubarb cordial. Nice and steady. It's still got a nice pink tinge. It's darkened a little bit with the sugar and with bringing it to the boil. Anyway, I'll be back when I've finished this. Okay, I've got 2 500ml bottles, a miniature, and then a couple for sampling. I'm just going to give my bottles a rinse in case there's any sticky residue on the outside. Nice one to be tidy. Right, so moment of truth, let's dilute this cordial. I'm not sure if I've diluted it enough or too much, but we'll soon find out. Cheers. That's absolutely beautiful. Wow. That is so nice. I've never before thought about making rhubarb cordial. I'm going to make it every year from now on. That is absolutely outstanding. I could sell that. Anyway folks, cheers. I'll catch you on the next part of the film where I'm going to make the rhubarb jam from the solids that I didn't put into the cordial that I've currently got in the fridge. Catch you shortly. Well folks, it's got up to 38 degrees outside. What a great day to be making jam in the kitchen. So here's the rhubarb mush that didn't go in the cordial. I'm going to weigh it in this takeaway tub. And in the takeaway tub, that comes to 497 grams. Let's just say 500 grams. So in an identical takeaway tub, I'm now going to weigh out 500 grams of sugar. Obviously taking the weight of the tub into account, but obviously that was in the tub also. There we go, I've just gone slightly over. It doesn't matter, a few grams here or there doesn't hurt. So I've got my wok on the hob. I'm just going to add a small glass of water. I haven't measured that, but there might be a couple of 100 ml. I'm going to add some of the sugar. I'm going to spoon some of the rhubarb into the sugar. There we go. Press it down. A bit more sugar. The rest of the sugar. And the rest of the rhubarb on top. What I want to do is just try and get this mixed together a little bit so the sugar and the rhubarb are not separate. I'm going to change to a wooden spoon because that's what I should be using. In fact, I'm going to use a wooden fork. That's quite good for mixing. I just want to ensure that the sugar isn't stuck to the bottom, that there's a bit of liquid there protecting the bottom of the pan, and that there's a good mix and consistency. Right, okay, I'm happy with that. So it's gas on, and I'm going to turn this down to a low heat, and I want it to come to a simmer. I'll put this on top in case it gets excited. So I'll come back to you with an update in a little while. Okay, it's 20 minutes later, and the jam mixture is now beginning to bubble away. I don't want it to burn, but I do want some of that liquid to evaporate off. So I'll just keep moving it round and keep coming back to it. I'll come back to you when I feel like it's getting close. So this is a good 20 minutes later again now. And the way that I normally test my jam to see if it's ready is by putting a little bit on a cold plate. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take some out on this fork and dab it on the plate. And I need to leave it to cool down. So when I tip the plate up, if it sticks to the plate, then I would say it's done. But if it runs down the plate, then it needs a bit longer. So we'll just have to wait and see. Oh, I've got a right dab on here. It's red hot. Anyway, I've had this in the fridge to cool down for 5 minutes just because it's so warm in the kitchen that I wasn't sure if it would or not. The plate now feels cold to touch. Let's see what happens when I tip it up. There's no running there. That means this is done. This has continued to cook while I've been waiting. So that's going to be even more solid. So that's good. This is going to make some great jam. I'll come back to you when that's cooled down in a little while. And when I've cooled down in a little while. Okay, this has cooled down a little bit, so it's now time to get it into the jars. Slightly messy process, and not one that you need to watch me do all the way through. So I'll come back to you when I've got that into these. Okay, that's my rhubarb jam in the jars, and I only managed to get 2, but it still looks 2 decent jars of jam. So I've got a few scrapings around the pan, so just using that on a little bit of brown bread. Let's have a taste test. Sticky, sweet. It's wonderful actually. It's honestly better than any jam you'll buy in a supermarket. If you've never made your own jam from fruit, just do it. Keep the same ratio of fruit to sugar and you can't go wrong. It's outstanding. Right, I've done It's red hot. I need to get my t-shirt off, my vest on, sat down in the garden, talking with my mouth full, sorry, and crack open a cold cider. I'll catch you on the next film, kids. See you later. The film that you've just watched is a Moss Home and Garden production. You can find more by going to www.mosshomeandgarden.co.uk. I'd just like to say thank you very much for supporting my YouTube channel and for watching my films. It really is very much appreciated. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe to my YouTube channel in order to receive future updates about the home and garden films which I upload. You can find my YouTube channel by going to www.mosshomeandgarden.co.uk. Please click on the red subscribe button. When you've done that, a little bell will appear. If you press that also, then you'll get future updates about the films which I upload. If you like my films, if you like my style of filming, then you might also like my travel channel, which you will find by going to youtube.com/Stuart Moss or type in www.mosstravel.tv. Again, if you could subscribe to that channel, it would be hugely appreciated. If you'd like to get Moss Home and Garden updates on Facebook, then please open Facebook and do a search for Moss Home and Garden, and you will find the page. If you like the page, then you will get future updates on there. And if you'd like to connect on Instagram for home, garden and travel photography, as well as some stories, then my username is StuMoss, STUMOSS. If you'd like to connect on Twitter, then my username is @StuartMoss. And if you'd like to contact me about film usage or any other issue, please just email me on stewmosshomegarden@gmail.com. Once again, thank you very much for supporting my channel, for watching my films. I do appreciate it. I'd just like you all to have a great day.